All my friends are bitter, you should know.
Hashtag never shave, I let it grow. You ever shave face, well, that's cute. But look what my bearded friends can do.
But look what my bearded friends can do.
All my friends are bearded, you should know. Hashtag never shave, I let it grow. You ever shave face, well, that's cute. But look what my bearded friends can do. I can take the nest of birds out of my beard, make a hideaway, stow away. Just because you don't get why we go up beers doesn't mean that
I used to listen to that song and cry when I was on drugs. Just sit there and bawl my eyes out. Especially when he says, I start taking the drugs and now the drugs take me.
Pills? Who's that?
Juice WRLD.
Who?
Juice WRLD.
Ain't that nigga dead?
Yeah. That's what made it even more sad.
Was it the drugs?
Yeah.
Was it the drugs?
Yes. Matter of fact. He even
So-
says it in the song. He's like, I just told y'all my secret, yeah. Because he says, if it wasn't for the, what do you say? What do you say?
I don't know.
If it wasn't for the pills, I wouldn't be here. But if I keep taking these pills, I won't be here. Yeah, I just told y'all my secret. Yeah, and it's tearing me to pieces. I really think I need them. I start taking the drugs and now the drugs take me. This is the part where you ask if I'm fine and I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry. This is the part where I take all my feelings and hide them, 'cause I don't want nobody to hurt me, can't breathe, I'm waiting for the exhale. Wishing Well is the name of the song. You never heard that song?
I can't breathe, I can't breathe. 999. Waiting for the exhale. I toss my pain with my wishes in a wishing well.
No, I don't.
I can't breathe, I'm waiting for
No, I don't typically. I don't usually listen to.
Pull up the audio. I'm still echoey a little bit somehow. Stress on my shoulders like an anvil. Turkey got me itching like an anthill. Drugs killing me softly like hell. Sometimes I don't know how to feel.
Woke up from depression. Use my past and my memories as a weapon.
On the other line, I talk to addiction. Speaking of the devil, all the drugs, I miss them. This can't be real, is it fiction? Something feels broke, need to fix it. I cry out for help, do they listen? But I'ma be alone until it's finished. This is the part where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry. This is the part where I take all my feelings and hide them, 'cause I don't want nobody to hurt
I
me.
can't breathe, I'm
Waiting for the exhale. Touch my pain with my wishes in a wishing well. Still no luck, but oh well.
I still try even though I know I'm gon' fail.
Stress on my shoulders like an anvil.
Perky got me itching like an anthill. Drugs killing me softly like hell.
Sometimes I don't know how to feel.
Sometimes I don't know how to feel. Let's be for real. If it wasn't for the pills, I wouldn't be here. But if I keep taking these pills, I won't be here. Yeah, I just told y'all my secret. Yeah, it's tearing me to pieces. I really think I need them.
I start taking the drugs and now the drugs take me.
This is the part where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry. This is the part where I take all my feelings and hide them, 'cause I don't want nobody to hurt me. I can't breathe, I'm waiting for the exhale. Toss my pain
okay, dude. It's not for everybody.
So, I don't know if I ever said it out loud, but this guy, why is everybody tripping out?
Juice WRLD?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too. Whenever it was like he was everywhere for a brief stint.
Well, I didn't listen to his music
Me
at
neither.
all.
Me neither.
You know? But whenever he died, it was just like, oh, you know.
That was the first song of his that I listened to.
It's the only song of his I've ever heard.
That's the first song
that I know of.
Yeah.
Intentionally sitting down and listening.
I heard it in a game room. I was high, and I went home and I listened to it personally, and I was like, oh, and it hit me, and I just started bawling my eyes out.
Yeah, no, I was sitting there like processing it. No, I loved it.
Good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was every bit of it's very well done. Every single bit of it.
Yeah.
So I get it.
It's that part where he says, I start taking the drugs, and now the drugs take me.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know how he died?
Overdose, right? Or
So
what?
he was on his airplane. He has a private jet, and his pilot had called the DEA and informed them that there was a bunch of weed and pills on the plane. So they were waiting on the tarmac when they landed, and he took all his Percocet that he had, and he overdosed and died right there on the tarmac. He was trying to get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Mm-hmm.
No, I never.
But then when you hear those
I never
lyrics,
really get, it's like another stupid kid doing you know, and because I don't know, I assume the rest of his more of his songs have a lot more him praising the drugs or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Celebrating it, I guess.
yeah. Well, he always,
Or what?
from what I've heard, now just don't let me speak out of turn here, but from what I've heard of him, he's always talking about it like it's a burden to him. He glorifies it bits and pieces, but like right there in that song where he's like, I really think I need them. But he even admits, like, if it wasn't for the pills, I wouldn't be here. But if I keep taking these pills, I won't be here.
Yeah.
Do I sound echoey again? Are you messing me up again?
I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
do anything.
Posthumously, how do you say it?
Posthumously.
Posthumously.
I don't
But
know.
that's that album, the one that song was just on, that Wishing Well, that was his last, like, the album that he had last recorded right before he died. But there's another song on there called Bad Energy, and I really like the vibe on that song. It's all, drain no bad energy.
I'm reading his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like
Bit, but it still sounds echoey.
No, okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't freaking
Click
know.
on
At this
death.
point, I'm like,
On his Wikipedia, on death right there. On the left, down, right there. What does that say? Read that out loud. Read that for Ashton to hear. Oh, sleepy kitty.
Do what?
I said, read that out loud for Ashton to hear. And then he yawned, and I was like, oh, sleepy kitty.
Oh. On this marine to Ghost String law post. Taking several unknown pills, including allegedly swallowing multiple pills. The pills that had them while police were on board the plane searching luggage. Higgins then began convulsing and seizing after 2 doses of emergency medication. Narcan were administered as an opioid that was suspected. Wow. Wow. Oxycodone. Toxic levels of oxycodone. Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yo. Yep. Jugs are bad. Okay. Jugs are bad. Yeah.
Somehow it was looking over there,
Well, we've
Anyway.
done a lot of.
moving and managing, and you're like a vortex. Man, I feel like I just can't get this thing where I want it. Shinoda came out with a new song. Shinoda and some chick, I don't know her name. It's for that new Scream movie that came out. You know, they did another Scream. Remember Scream? It's called In My Head. In My Head. That's it. There you go. You nerd out a little bit on that.
Yeah, it's easy to do. It's easy to do. Yeah, I just sit there and I'm like, ifs and buts, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Start somewhere. Ugh.
I don't know. You already know my feelings on. I've said it before. It's like watching Picasso painting, just watching him work. It's mesmerizing to me. I could watch it for hours. Just
It's fun. I like one of the things I loved about my my brief life in the Dallas Fort Worth area, where I actually lived up there, and spending so much time in the music scene, in the club scene, in the DJ scene. And it wasn't just going to clubs, but it was actually spending time with the DJs and learning how some of it's produced, watching them put together sets, performing sets, and everything.
what's really amazing to me is when they do light shows and stuff, and the choreography of the lights to the music, and it just gets.
So one of the guys that I can't remember the name of the company that he joined, but that's what they do is they do the light shows and stuff. They do like mass, huge LED productions, laser production, like like concerts, like the whole big shebang,
Like Pink Floyd type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're the people that if you got like an event going on, like they set everything up, and it's really cool. He's one of those people that I knew from those club days, which makes sense because his house was always lit very. I don't know. He had a really interesting house. Very,
Yeah, I
very
think you told me
interesting
about that at the camp out. We were talking about it.
house. Probably Prowler or Sean, but yeah, it was very interesting. But but if you could go back several years back, that's something I told my son's mom. I said my life's goal, honestly, would be to be able to live making music and producing music or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be the goal.
It's kind of eye opening what Jelly Roll was talking about all these people in the music industry, and all these people, the writing rooms, and there's
that's
thousands
up
of
there in,
writers, and
and that's in
Nashville.
that's how it is in Nashville. I'd assume
It's probably,
there's probably
the
some
same way
similar
in
stuff in
LA.
in LA. Yeah, and all that.
I would assume so.
Yeah, but it's really true though. It's especially true in the country music scene. It seems like all those
Songs
even in
are
the pop.
written by people that the artist that you're hearing sing it didn't write any of it, or only wrote portions of it, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same way in like pop music.
yeah.
They didn't write those songs like Britney Spears and all them people. Maybe some of them, but
That adds another layer of respect to the
songwriting.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when Tech Nine writes all of his own stuff,
Yeah.
produces his own stuff. I mean, he's independent.
Well, I mean, Strange Music does.
Yeah.
It's just not a major label. But yeah, no, it's I've always been around songwriters. Like all the bands and stuff that I've always known.
Yeah.
Or that I grew up around or whatever. You know, we'd do covers or whatever, but for the most part, you know, they wrote their own.
Are you familiar with Fort Minor?
Yeah, of course.
Mike has a song. Well, in the beginning of the song, when you're listening to the album, it's him talking to Jay-Z. Jay-Z co-produced that album with him, which is right after they did the Jay-Z Linkin Park mashup.
Yeah, the mashup.
But he's talking to Jay-Z, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, like when we first signed to Warner Brothers, like they were like trying to change us.
Yeah,
like how we said they were like." They wanted to get rid of me. They said that Chester was enough to carry the band. They didn't want a guy rapping. They told me I should just play keyboard, and they wanted Joseph Hahn to dress up in like a trench coat and a cowboy hat, and like he was like, and you can hear Jay-Z going like, "Dude, what?" And Mike's like, "Yeah, dude, it was ridiculous." So then the first bass note drops on the song.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike comes in and he's like, before the first album that you heard me on, there were people already trying to get me gone, telling me to quit rapping, I should just play keys, that my band had a singer. They didn't need me, but my band had my back, so we did the tracks. Put out the album and the talk went flat. But he's saying on there how like people were saying ghostwriters were writing all that we do, so we had to disprove it. We spelled it out to the detail how we do it when we making this music.
Yeah.
That's when they started recording, like in studio, everything they were doing. And I actually recently went back and found, I always knew about Frat Party at the Pancake Festival, which was a DVD that I had actually bought off of eBay or whatever way back when.
Yeah.
That's basically them carrying a camera around recording their tour and recording everything. But then I didn't know that they had made a behind-the-scenes making of Meteora. I did know that they did a behind-the-scenes making of Minutes to Midnight because I bought the box set because I was a nerd and a geeked out LP fan. So I bought the box set and it came with the making of and it showed them during the writing process.
Oh, it has like behind the scenes.
Oh,
DVD
the making of the album. They rented this house in California
that kind of stuff is fascinating to me.
Then you would really, really like that watching that DVD. You can find it on YouTube, I think. The making of the Minutes to Midnight album. They rent this house called the Laurel House. It's like a four-story house that artists rent out and they record albums there. So they rented it for like 3 months and they moved into this house and lived together for 3 months. And it's just everything behind the scenes of them making the album, the writing process. They brought in, what's his name? Rick Rubin. Yeah. How did you know that's who I was talking about?
Because Rick Rubin is the ultimate.
Yeah, he's
producer.
produced everything, anything that was anything.
Whenever you think of hip hop or hell, just
Or
music
rock.
in general, I don't know, dude.
He's produced everything.
Yeah, and
Selena,
Rick Rubin is
Cher,
Beastie Boys.
Ooh,
Dude.
Red Hot Chili
Did you
Peppers.
see his
Tom Petty.
Did you see his? He's on Rogan, and it's a good one.
Oh, I need to go look at it.
It's a very good one.
Yeah, I need to go look at it.
It took me like days to watch it because everything in the world just kept happening during that time. And so I'd get to watch like 30 minutes of it, and then the world would fall apart, and then, it'd come back together, and I'd get to watch another 30 minutes of it. It's a full like 3 hours, I want to say.
He produced 2 or 3 albums for Linkin Park.
It's not surprising. I mean, he's
I think Minutes to Midnight.
When we first started working on this album, I was excited to see where it would go. I knew that I wasn't going to be happy kind of
Oh, there's Phoenix.
just doing a continuation of what we'd already done before.
When we initially started to think about making this record,
It shows them playing ping pong. Like Chester sitting there smoking a cigarette, keeping score, and they're playing basketball and stuff. Like, it's really cool. It's really, really cool to watch that. So
whenever my older cousin was in a band and they were signed to Roadrunner Records, and they went to Florida to record, and they had somebody, a producer from someone who produced Nickelback stuff or something. I can't remember. I don't know. Roadrunner did their deal. You know, they've got all kinds of people on staff or whatever.
yeah, I've heard of Roadrunner Records.
Yeah, that's Slipknot's on them.
Yeah.
Everybody. Not everybody, but, you know, bands. But they were trying to turn them into another Hinder, something like that, is where they were.
Hinder. Is that
Go home, get stoned, because the sex is so much better when you're mad.
we can end up making love instead of misery?
Yeah.
Did they also do the
Lips of an Angel.
Honey, what you calling me? So late.
The lead guitarist and one of the original founders of Faction, the band that my cousin was in, wound up playing for Hinder, and he wound up as a lead singer, Marshall Dutton. He's talented, but
Speaking of playing for somebody, Foo Fighters got a new drummer to replace Taylor Hawkins since he died.
it's got to be another one of those situations where, you know, no matter how good of a drummer you think you are,
You're still drumming for Dave Grohl. That's how Taylor felt, and he even admitted it. He's like, dude, I'm drumming for Dave Grohl. Like, anything I can do, he can do it way better. Like, the pressure is ridiculous.
like, who writes the drums?
Well, I'm sure Taylor had rights to that after a while, but he had to earn it.
No, I mean, like,
you can go back. I've watched footage on this too. Dave Grohl talking about like the guy that was the drummer before Taylor.
Yeah.
They were doing this album, and Dave didn't like the drum tracks, and he went back and redid all of the drum tracks himself. And that drummer was pissed, and he's like, "Sorry, dude, this is my band, and it's got to be the way I want it. And what you put on the table just wasn't good enough for me to put out to my listeners, to my fan base. It's not good enough for me. It's definitely not going to be good enough for them." So that's when they parted ways. And then he found Taylor, who was drumming for Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette.
Yeah. I just listened to one of her songs today. It's on my playlist. No man turned 98.
Oh.
He won the lottery, and he died the next day. I don't care who you are, dude. Alanis Morissette could sing. You go ahead. Now I can't remember the lyrics to it. What is that?
It's ironic.
I know the
This is
song.
ironic. I'm going to go ahead and...
Mr. Afraid to Fly. What did he say? He waited his whole damn life to take that flight. And as the plane crashed down, he thought, well, isn't this nice? And isn't that ironic? It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you're already late. It's a good advice that you just didn't take. And who would have thought it figures?
You want to actually... Can you read that? Your eyes work good?
Yeah, I can read that. It's a black fly in your Chardonnay. It's a death row pardon, 2 minutes too late.
It's an old man.
Turned 98. He won the lottery, and he died the next day. It's a black fly in your Chardonnay. It's a death row pardon, 2 minutes too late. And isn't it ironic, don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. It's a good advice that you just didn't take. And who would have thought it figures?
Mr. Play It Safe.
Was afraid to fly.
was afraid to fly. He packed his suitcase. He kissed his kids goodbye. He waited his whole damn life to take that flight. And as the plane crashed down, he thought, well, isn't this nice? And isn't it ironic?
Oh, we have bad news. We've lost one engine. How far will the other one take us? All the way to the scene of the crash.
Whose joke is that?
That's Ron White.
Ron White.
Yeah. And that's a good thing because that's where the ambulance is going to be.
Oh, dude, Ron White's so fucking hilarious.
So pull up. The name of the song,
I don't know. You forgot to tell me.
Linkin Park, and it is. I kept trying to figure out who and what they sounded like in the song because it does not sound like them. It does not sound like them at all. It is called. Ready for it? It is called Massive.
That a lot.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a
do too.
big fan of drum and bass. Huge fan of drum and bass. Like, whenever I started listening to like electronic dance music and stuff like that, we used to call it techno. Drum and bass was always like my favorite, like the heavy. And then Slipknot was also one of my favorite bands for forever. Heavy percussions.
Three percussionists.
Majority of the music up until their deaths, or actually whenever Joey left the band, but Paul, and whenever Paul died, Joey and Paul wrote the majority of the music. The drummer and the bassist wrote the majority of the actual music.
Drum and bass driven.
So yeah, whenever you listen to their stuff from way back, it was like a real funk type metal sound. And it's drum and bass driven. So hearing that, because that's what those samples and all that like Aphex Twin. Did you listen to Aphex Twin? You know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about?
But yeah, that bass.
I'm going to play you the first Aphex Twin that I heard, okay? And I was in my teens, but I was 16 years old.
Is this kind of like Crystal Method type ish?
And I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I had a badass system in it, and we would roll through town. It did it again. I pressed it to the key to do that, and
That's real dubsteppy.
this is before dubstep, bro.
I know.
And I was listening to this stuff before I did hard drugs. pretty nasty. So I had a pair of 12s, hooked to a 1600 watt amp, took a couple of 6x9s, pimped out tweeters, that bitch thumped. All through Graham.
They were probably glad when you left. People with Graham were probably like, thank God that's over. So, this kind of stuff, and kind of what this video reminded me of to begin with. So, there's a movie, and I want to say it's called The Purge.
Yes.
And Shinoda did the whole soundtrack, and it's all music like that.
Which Purge?
I want to say it's called The Purge. It might not be the correct title.
Like the actual movie?
Yeah, it's a movie about. It's all Asian people.
Oh,
and they're in this building. It's like a futuristic kind of post Armageddon Fallout, and they're trying to get to this kingpin. It's the like the Chinese or whatever Asian, Japanese or Korean, I don't know, government police officers kicking into this building trying to get to the top floor because that's where this kingpin is, and it's a fight scene on every freaking floor.
Oh,
it's nonstop. The whole movie is nothing but fight scenes, like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, but like non-stop, and it's non-stop. That kind of music that Shinoda did for that movie in every scene. I don't know if it's called The Purge or what's it called? Let's ask Jamie. Jamie, can you look that up for us? You may just have to search it as. There's not really much words. There's not really a lot of words in the movie. And when they do speak it, they speak in whatever native language it is, so it's subtitled. But there's not a lot of words in it. It's mostly just whoopassery.
Whoopassery.
Here, let's try it this way. The Raid. I'm sorry. Called The Raid. I have no idea.
This? Surely not. Maybe. I have no idea.
Selamat pagi. Mungkin Anda sudah mendengar kalau kita kedatangan tamu tak diundang. Selamat bekerja. Dan jangan lupa bersenang-senang.
That's
Score by Mike Shinoda, Linkin Park.
but that's basically what the whole movie is. It's just all fight scenes in it.
It's like a video game.
It's like a choreographer's nightmare, dude. It's like the
Or-
best of Saw mixed with a Jackie Chan Jet Li movie. Now seeing that Kingpin, it kind of looked more Vietnamese-ish, more, I don't know. It's a badass movie, though. I watched it. But if you remember on their first two albums, they had tracks on those albums that were all just.
What I was thinking is that
They had one on DJ Han did the first one.
yeah, if you listen to
DJ Han.
well, if you listen to Shinoda's music, his instrumental stuff
Oh, yeah.
that he makes, it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that's. Let me see. I was trying to figure out what language. You know, something that pisses me off with like Netflix is they'll put some and not let you know that it's not even in English. You know, it's like, just tell me, just let me know ahead of time.
Yeah.
I have no issue personally. I mean, I have no issue with subtitles if I'm not trying to go to sleep to the movie because I can't see.
Yeah.
You know, if I take my glasses off. But it's like, dude, just let me know it's not in English. This
Yeah.
way, you know, I know what to expect. Instead,
Like
they
that-
hide that shit like
what
they're
was that
trying to sneak
movie
it.
That came out last year or year before last. That was in another language, but everybody was raving over it. Squid Game or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah.
I
it's
started to
Korean.
watch it and then realized it's not in English. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's Korean.
I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, it's Korean. I enjoyed it, but I knew what I was.
I
getting
didn't
into.
know what I
Like,
was getting into.
Yeah, I knew what I was getting into though. And I watched it English, and then I watched it with subtitles in the Korean with the English subtitles
Yeah.
because you miss a lot of stuff. There's actually quite a few things that were changed.
Lost in the translation.
Yeah, they get kind of switched around that make more sense whenever you read it, and it's like, oh, okay.
I can't stand reading subtitles while I'm watching a movie because I end up reading more than I'm watching. But sometimes you have to. Like I was watching Peaky Blinders, and when I very first, like the first season of Peaky Blinders, I had to have the subtitles on to understand what they're saying because their accents are so thick. But then I got used to it.
Yeah, I
So
used to
turned them
watch so much.
I need to get back on my Peaky Blinders. I was almost caught up. And
Well, I used to watch so much British, so much UK stuff, British
so
stuff,
your ears trained to it.
Irish actors, you know, and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it took some time though. I used to have to watch everything with subtitles on and everything.
That guy,
Well, I still do, but
Cullen, what's his name? The guy that plays Thomas Shelby in Peaky Blinders? Cullen something or
don't
other.
get me lying.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, because I
The
watched
main character in Peaky
yeah,
Blinders.
I haven't seen. Is there a new?
I think there's 5 seasons so far, and I was on season 5 when I kind of jumped on something else. But
Well,
I need to get back on it.
The last thing I remember is
I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know what you're fixing to say.
No, I'm not going to say anything at
He
all.
went.
Then.
Did you see where he went to the insane asylum and was talking to his friend, and he was he gave his friend that pill to eat to kill himself,
Indonesia.
and he ended up breaking his friend out of the insane asylum.
I don't know. Do you remember the brewery?
Oh yeah, I'm way after the brewery.
Okay.
Talking about where he had his own, where he was making his own whiskey, his own moonshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm way after that.
Okay. I don't know. It's been so long since I've watched it.
It's a good show.
The Raid was originally
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Anyway, that character, that actor, I mean, is playing in that new Oppenheimer movie. It's coming out. I think it's got Matt Damon in it. Are you familiar with this? No, you don't watch trailers. Are you looking up soundtracks? Oh, Peaky Blinders. His name is Cullen Murphy.
Cullen Murphy.
He's in that the new movie coming out called Oppenheimer. And I'm pretty sure you know what Oppenheimer is.
There it goes. Come on now. My poor computer.
That guy.
It is stressed out right now.
Well, it's just going to have to suck it up, Buttercup.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like, just get through this weekend.
That's the Oppenheimer thing playing up there at the top.
Atomic policy should be.
No, I can't do that.
All about Oppenheimer. Filmmaker Christopher Nolan writes and directs this 2023 biopic about the father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer.
It's 20 years too late.
Frequent collaborator Cillian Murphy stars as the titular theoretical physicist who designed the bombs that devastated Japan in 1945.
I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
That part of his speech where he says, I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
On what
the
song?
One after midnight. No, that would have been, was that Living Things? No. It was I used to know these albums like the back of my hand. You had Minutes to Midnight, and then you had the one that came out when my daughter was born. I know that because I was living in Alabama when it came out. I went to Walmart and bought it the day it came out. I got it right here. You don't have to look up. Boom. Boom. No, that's not what I wanted. How did I get on that? There and...
Thousand Suns?
Yep, that one. Because after that was Living Things, and then The Hunting Party, and then their last album. Yeah. They also pulled a Martin Luther King speech on this album.
Magnificent house of worship tonight, because my conscience leaves me no other choice.
Anyway. Yeah. I want to say it was... Yeah.
Would not be the same. Two people laughed. Two people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu.
Anyway, that's the Oppenheimer speech that they pulled and put on there. You know, Shinoda's of Japanese descent. His grandfather was in Japan during... It's on one of the Fort Minor CDs. It's a song that he wrote about... That's a badass song that tells a story. Kenji. It's the story of Japan and World War II and... You want to talk about some good lyricism and telling a story and rapping and making it sound right? That song right there, Kenji, is top notch. Yeah.
My father came from Japan in 1905. He was 15 when he immigrated from Japan. He worked until he was able to actually build a store.
Let me tell you a story in the form of a dream. I don't know why I have to tell it, but I know what it means. Close your eyes, just picture the scene as I paint it for you. It was World War II when this man named Kenji woke up. Ken was not a soldier. He was just a man with a family who owned a store in LA. That day, he crawled out of bed like he always did, bacon and eggs with wife and kids. He lived on the second floor of a little store he ran. He moved to LA from Japan, they called him immigrant. In Japanese, he'd say he was called Issei. That meant first generation in the United States, when everybody was afraid of the Germans, afraid of the Japs, but most of all afraid of a homeland attack. And that morning, when Ken went out on the doormat, his world went black, cause right there, front page news, 3 weeks before 1942, Pearl Harbor's been bombed and the Japs are coming. Pictures of soldiers dying and running. Ken knew what it would lead to. Just like you guessed, the president said the evil Japanese in our home country would be locked away. They gave Ken a couple of days to get his whole life packed in 2 bags. Just 2 bags, couldn't even pack his clothes. Some folks didn't even have a suitcase to pack anything in, so 2 trash bags
is all they gave them.
Yeah.
It's a badass song.
Yeah, once I started going, I started remembering it.
Right over there. What that is?
Cough drop.
Aha. Secrets?
Hmm.
Secrets? Ludens?
I think it's a Halls.
Ricola.
With, do that again.
Ricola.
It's like Hall's Defense with vitamin C. And on the package, I threw it away, but it said dietary supplement or something because it has a shit of vitamin C in it.
Whoa. Are those smart light bulbs?
They're smarter than some. They both operate on the same remote.
No, that wasn't it. Is that a Woodwick candle over there?
No.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Woodwicks?
Yes.
They make that kind of sound when they're burning. Oh, that is what I'm hearing. It's the Juggalo up there. You were talking about recording songs on a tape off the radio.
Yeah.
You have to hit play and record at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I did that with in Dallas. I don't know if they do this everywhere, but in Dallas, they used to play ICP on the radio.
Some songs.
Yeah.
On some stations.
Yeah. So they had
some edits.
But they had edited together Great Malenko with Boogie Woogie Woo.
Okay.
So it would come on Great Malenko. Great Malenko. Yeah. But then it would go into the first contestants.
Yeah, first contestant. That's the dating show.
But they had all 3 of them mixed together.
Oh, okay. Boogie woogie 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 woo.
Make way for the boogeyman.
Yeah. But then it would pop up with.
Does the boogeyman really exist?
It would pop up with
From bald-headed freak.
Now introducing contestant number 1.
I cannot stand that song. God, that. I used to be a juggalo and do all that stuff, and it used to piss me off so much.
What is a juggalo?
Hell if I know.
But I'm down with the clown if you're down with that, yo.
Gosh. It's like, I was a big fan of Rehab for a long time. And
Did Rehab do that stupid song?
Yeah.
What was it?
The one you're thinking of?
Yeah. Fuck, I hated that song.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine being a fan of the band and hating that.
Fucking hated that song.
Dude. I got so tired. Like, whenever you see them live, it's like, just play this song. They're going to play it at the end. And, dude, people get shit-faced drunk and they're like, it's like, just wait. They're going to do it. They're going to do it, but it's going to be at the very end of the show whenever everybody's shit-faced. And so they say this way, the whole drunken crowd can do the la, 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 because that's all they really want to do anyway, is sing along to that la, la, and dumb shit. It's like, just wait. It'll get there.
That's like the fucking, who is it? Is it David Allan Coe? You never even call me by my name.
You say so.
The crowd interaction part of that, where they're like, "You never let me."
But it's just frustrating.
Or the Hank, why do you drink to get drunk? Why do you roll smoke to get stoned? Why must you live out the songs that you wrote?
Yeah,
to
my
get
papa.
laid?
My papa told me about that song. He was like, "Yeah." He started telling me because it's like, "You like Hank Williams?" I was like, "Yeah, I like old Hank." I was like, "Oh." Hank Williams liked to party.
I always liked the song "The Ride" from David Allan Coe. The Ride. I didn't mean you had to look it up. I was just making a comment.
Dude, it's like I hear music or I know music, but
He said, "Mister, can you make folks feel what you feel inside?" What do you say? Have you paid your dues? Can you mow the blues? Or can you pick them guitar strings?
When a stranger stopped beside me. But if you
gosh, bless him.
My brother was always the one that was listening to "The house next door to me's been sold to." I'm not saying that. Very inappropriate racial slur.
Yeah. Once upon a time, there may or may not have been some high school aged immature kids that used to sing a lot of David Allan Coe, or I'm sorry, Johnny Rebel, or whatever. Because I think he denied being Johnny Rebel. But it's like, dude, we know. It's not okay.
Dude, I have a 3-day weekend. I realized I.
I always have a 3-day weekend.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm off. It's my first 3-day weekend since New Year's. I'm excited.
Are y'all going? You said you're going camping?
Yeah, I want to go to Lawton, Oklahoma. My ex rented a campsite for us tomorrow night. No, not tomorrow night. Sunday night. So they want to drive up there Sunday. Going to Nathan's house tomorrow. We're doing a little get-together barbecue at his house tomorrow evening. He said he's going to cook a brisket, and we're bringing some banana pudding and
some nanner tootin'. Nanner tootin'. Eh? Nanner tootin'. What you say? Around these bar we call it nanner tootin'. That's what we go.
Can you say Worcestershire sauce?
Worcestershire.
Ask a hair lip to say Worcestershire. Worcestershire, huh? Hey, can you have me the I call it wash your sister sauce.
You go wash your sister with that sauce. All right, dude. I gotta cut it down because I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I'm dragging. It's about that time.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah,
I can see it. Yeah, you still got to drive across town.
Oh God.
Oh no.
We don't get pulled over.
What are you doing out this late? I don't even know what it's like to drive around this late hardly anymore.
I don't know
so
what it's
long.
like at all to drive around this late.
Yeah. It's
Period.
Weird. Yeah. So.
But I guarantee you I pass at least one cop on the way home.
At least.
The only way I'm not going to pass a cop is if I take Elm all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go all the way back around.
And I could probably cut across Main and catch Hamilton and come that way. But if I go all the way down Main Street,
oh yeah,
guarantee.
I was looking at the police blotter the other day. I was sitting at the house and there was nobody watching the desk. And so I was watching the desk. But I was reading the police blotter, and 99% of the tickets, arrest,
Main Street.
pull over. Yeah, Main Street.
So
Or the
Roger's son Race, he has a song and he says, "You can do what you want to do, just don't do it on Main Street."
Yeah.
He literally says that in the song.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do, just don't do it on Main.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We had a guy that's worked for Tower for before it was Tower. He's been there like 36 years.
Jeez Louise.
38 years. He just died.
Oh, wow.
He's only 57. Johnny and Zadula and Deluza and Zadula. Yeah, I knew him. I talked with him before multiple times at work. Yeah, they found him dead in his house. I think he had diabetes and stuff, and he wouldn't take care of himself. And
Did he work production?
he was in Shipping 5, packing, and he didn't do much packing the last few years. I think he had fallen at work and like broke a rib or something, and was on light duty, and then his medical stuff started getting way out of whack, and they had him on some weird deal where he would come in and work like 2 hours a day or something. But I think it was them trying to keep him off of workman's comp. So they were letting him work long enough to where they didn't have to pay workman's comp or some shit. I don't know. I don't know the details behind it.
Not surprising.
I guess it's his daughter that works at Clint's. Amanda Fox, I think is her name.
I don't know. I'd never go down that way.
Well, I didn't know if you might know him because
No.
small town and people know people.
No, I don't really get out and about too far away from
You
home
will
base.
when you get that electric trike, boy. You'll be the hopscotch of the town. Just don't ride it down Main Street.
Just don't ride it down Main Street. Yeah, I hadn't planned on doing that.
Yeah. All right. Well, between two beards, it's close to bedtime. So.
All my friends are big, you should know.
I'm gonna listen to this song and
Peace. You ever share face well, that's you. But look what my bearded friends can do.
But look what my bearded friends can do.
All my friends are bearded, you should know. Hashtag never shave, I let it grow. You ever shave face well, that's cute. But look what my bearded friends can do. I can sit and miss the birds, I do my beard, make a hideaway. So away. Just because you don't get what we love, my beard's